We bring you the lunch edition of MBC News with me, Abale. The headlines. President Mutharika vows to put measures that will bring the economy back on course and reduce hardships faced by citizens. Blantyre City Council embarks on sewer rehabilitation compensation survey. In our special report, we bring in families that once lost hope on the academic future of their children and now have it restored due to the free secondary education policy. And now the news in detail. His Excellency the President, Professor Peter Mutharika, says his government has put in place tangible measures to ensure that the country stabilizes from various economic challenges. Professor Mutharika was speaking at Parliament Building in Lilongwe, where he delivered the State of the Nation address. He said his administration has lined up a number of development projects and initiatives aimed at improving the welfare of Malawians. Charles Wahara reports.
The State of the Nation address comes 5 months after the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, resumed power following the September 2025 general elections. In his address, President Mutharika started with assuring Malawians of his commitment to restore the economy through the introduction of measures that control spending within the state machinery. The President pointed out the reduction of fuel entitlements for cabinet ministers and other government officials, as well as restricting local and international travels as some means of controlling spending and promote austerity.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my government also instituted measures or set measures to save our resources for improved service delivery. These include reducing fuel entitlements for cabinet ministers and all government officials, and also restricting local and foreign travel. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank Malawians for their understanding that we are in an economic crisis and we need to make tough and painful decisions, which will soon be offset by the expected gains. In
the area of fuel efficiency in the country, Professor Mutharika explained that his government will double fuel storage capacity from 60 million litres to 120 million litres through the construction of new facilities in Lilongwe, Blantyre and Mzuzu. In the area of agriculture, the President has guaranteed that farmers in the 2026-2027 agriculture season should expect a better and improved delivery of the affordable fertilizer input program. On staple food availability, the Malawi leader said when he assumed office, Malawi was in serious food crisis, saying the price of maize was beyond the reach of many families. He added that currently maize is selling at around 38,000 kwacha and 55,000 kwacha per 50 kg bag, from around 100,000 kwacha before his government came into power.
In the 2026-27 agriculture season, Malawians should expect a better and improved delivery of affordable fertilizer program. However, I must emphasize that we need an affordable and sustainable solution to fertilizer. As such, we are facilitating the commencement of a fertilizer production in this country. Mr. Speaker, sir, you also recall that we found tobacco farmers stranded with 3.5 million kilograms of unsold tobacco on the auction floor. In my mid-year budget review statement, I directed, I'm pleased to report that almost all the tobacco was sold, earning $8.6 million US.
On road infrastructure development, President Mutharika says he has directed that toll-gate revenues along the M1 road be ring-fenced and designated exclusively for the road maintenance. Mutharika says the development will assist in improving the M1 road condition from Munsanje to Chitipa, saying it is in bad shape due to years of maintenance negligence. The President further says he has directed that road maintenance must resume with immediate effect. On free secondary education in public schools, President Professor Mutharika said over 1,800 students who dropped out of school due to financial challenges have already returned to school. He says his government will also expand university student loans to accommodate more students. On health, President Professor Peter Mutharika says that drug supplies in public hospitals have extensively improved, with adequate stocks of malaria, TB and HIV/AIDS medication. President Mutharika mentioned that the health budget has been increased by 17 billion kwacha plus 5 billion kwacha for child vaccines. He also said that Mzuzu Central Hospital will begin offering dialysis services in the coming financial year. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika says government has increased the Constituency Development Fund, the CDF, to 5 billion kwacha in what the president describes as a major transformation in financing local development. He said the move aims to strengthen decentralization, improve accountability, and accelerate grassroots development.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my government has prioritized decentralization to improve efficiency, accountability, and accelerate development at the grassroots level. My government has taken a bold step to increase the reformed Development Fund, CDF, from 21 million to 5 billion per constituency per year.
The president warned that funds are performance-based and any misuse will attract the full force of the law. The president called on the National Local Government Finance Committee to intensify oversight in councils. Charles Wahara, NBC News, Parliament Building, Lilongwe.
President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika says government will prioritize infrastructure development, skills training and climate action as part of efforts to support long-term national development. George Mukandawira reports.
According to President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, government plans to resume stalled construction projects, strengthen community colleges, and continue labor-intensive public programs to create opportunities at local level. He also announced plans to introduce annual scholarships aimed at supporting youth in every constituency, starting from the 2026-2027 financial year.
Government will continue with the development of special economic zones to attract high-value investments. These include Magwero, Chigumula, Matendi, and Dunduzu Industrial Park. And two, government will also strengthen cooperatives and micro, small, and medium enterprises to boost value addition and increase import substitution. Mr. Speaker, sir, my government will also intensify support for local production to further drive down commodity prices, create jobs, and grow the economy.
President Mutharika further says his administration is prioritizing railway and water transport projects as part of efforts to strengthen cargo movement and improve national connectivity. He also announced plans to begin feasibility and design studies for railway expansion linking the central and northern regions.
My government will, one, expedite the signing of a memorandum of understanding for the Nakala Rail Corridor. Two, advance works on the Kanengo-Chinji line. And three, commence feasibility and design studies for rail expansion from the central to the northern region. Marine and water transport. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the 2026-27 financial year, my government will, one, complete construction of the Likoma Port, two, rehabilitate and upgrade Chipoka Port, and three, facilitate private sector participation in the lake transport to invest more in cargo and passenger vessels. These efforts in the transport sector will position Malawi as a competitive hub for regional trade.
Among the major projects the president announced include the rehabilitation of M5 Road from Kapatenga to Benga, 4 sections of M1 Road between Lilongwe and Chiweta, Msipe Ruonde Road, Masasa Goromoti Monkibe Kwekwere Road, Mangochi Monkibe Road, Rumpi Nyika Chitipa, and Ncheu Tsangano Neno Mwanza Road, among others. George Nkandawire, NBC, Lilongwe.
Meanwhile, the World Bank has welcomed President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's reform-focused State of the Nation address delivered in Parliament on Friday. World Bank Country Manager for Malawi, Firas Rad, stressed the need for people-centered reforms that protect the poor and vulnerable, while emphasizing macroeconomic stabilization as key to unlocking private sector growth and job creation.
The first point is the recognition that the crisis that Malawi is in is a human-manufactured crisis, a man-made crisis, and therefore it is solvable. And we do very much agree with His Excellency around this very important point. The second one is that any approach, a developmental approach, has to be people-centered. And we think this is incredibly important because as the country reforms and recovers, the most poor and vulnerable segments of society have to be shielded and protected. I'd also like to emphasize as well the points that His Excellency made around macroeconomic stabilization. For us, this is a foundational action that needs to be taken to then allow the private sector to grow. His Excellency also talked about the sources of growth and covered many different sectors. And we do believe now that it is time to unleash the energies of the private sector, and they need an enabling environment to do so. Because it's only through the private sector that you create jobs, and through those jobs you provide dignity, you reduce poverty, and you improve living standards. And lastly, I would say that a very important message that His Excellency emphasized was this idea of Malawi moving from being importing and consuming nation to an exporting and producing nation. So I'd like to commend the government on this first address.
District Commissioner for Dedza, Rosemary Nawasha, has urged people of Mutharika in the district to venture into winter cropping in order to avert the hunger situation facing the area. She made the remarks during the distribution of maize to people that have been affected by the dry spell in the district. Wine to Mod's reports.
Over 32,000 households in Dedza district are at risk of facing hunger following a dry spell that has hit the district. In order to avert the situation, the District Commissioner, Rosemary Nawasha, has led a distribution exercise of maize at Mutharika.
The situation currently is very bad, especially this side of Mutharika and Goromot, because they don't grow much of the maize. Usually dry spells at this side of Dedza is always every year. So the situation this side is very bad as compared to the upperland. We registered about 32,000 households that we had projected that they will be hunger stricken. And this is one of the stations where we are now distributing the leaf maize from Dodima.
Nawasha has since called on the beneficiaries to invest in winter cropping in order to avert the hunger situation.
I was telling them once they get this maize, they are eating food in their home, let them use that energy to produce their own food. Usually when the maize are not doing well, they cultivate cowpeas. So I was encouraging them to make sure that they plant enough cowpeas, which they can sell and also buy maize, so that when the government is coming to give them food, they can also have their own food to rely on.
Mutharika Mankhamba Ward Councillor Alec Banda warned the beneficiaries against selling the maize.
The objective is to support people. Unfortunately, some men, when they want beer, they grab the maize from their homes and sell this maize. But we are advising them against this practice. This maize is meant to support the homes.
One of the beneficiaries, Sebastiano Sinileya, from Tembetembe Village Traditional Authority Kachindamoto, has thanked government for the men, saying he has stayed a week without food.
We had no food for almost a week. It was very difficult to find food. We thank the government for this maize. From today and the days coming, we will have food.
1,081 people have so far received a 50-kilogram bag of maize each. Maim Tumodzi, MBC News, Dedza.
This is MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika vows to put measures that will bring the economy back on course and reduce hardships faced by citizens. Blantyre City Council embarks on sewer rehabilitation compensation survey. In our special report, we bring in families that once lost hope on the academic future of their children and now have it restored due to the free secondary education policy. Welcome back. Blantyre City Council says it has embarked on a survey to establish the number of people and properties that may be affected by the rehabilitation of the city's sewer network. Under the Malawi Water and Sanitation Project, the council, with funding from the World Bank, intends to rehabilitate and upgrade the city's outdated sewer network and treatment plants. Erlin Chimoy reports.
The site of spewing sewage in various locations across the city remains an eyesore, a development that has often seen members of the public calling on the city fathers to address the problem. It is against such public concerns and an overly aged network that the council has set out to deal with the sanitation challenge. However, it has been observed that over time some people have constructed buildings over the sewer pipeline, a development that will require the displacement of households and demolition of the affected structures. Project coordinator Flavius Kamani has told NBC that the $34 million, approximately 59 billion kwacha project is expected to directly benefit 100,000 people through improved sewer sanitation services, while 480,000 others will benefit from enhanced solid waste management services. Kamani adds that the team from GNT Consult Limited is currently conducting the assessment by tracing the pipeline to determine the number of people likely to be affected and to establish the possible compensation costs for structures that will need to be demolished to pave way for evacuation works. Most of the major works are expected to commence later this year, with the project scheduled to run for 18 months. The sanitation project is part of a 259 billion kwacha IDA-supported Malawi Water and Sanitation Project aimed at increasing access to improved water supply and sanitation services in Blantyre metropolitan area, and to enhance the operational and financial efficiency of the Blantyre Water Board. Edin Chimoyo, NBC News, Blantyre.
The Director of Health and Sanitation Services for Nsanje District, Dr. Gilbert Chapweteka, has confirmed that 5 people are currently receiving treatment for cholera out of 14 recorded cases in the district. Dr. Chapweteka made the confirmation when he received medical supplies from AIDS Healthcare Foundation, AHF, which are intended to help the district manage the disease outbreak. Speaking during the handover, AHF Regional Manager Dr. Emmanuel Kwataine said the organization remains committed to supporting the promotion and delivery of quality health services in the country.
So far, we have recorded a total of 14 cases, and at the moment, we have got 5 that are in our treatment units. The cases are from the Sorigin Health Center, which borders the district of Chikwawa. So that's where we're seeing most of the cases. The first case registered was on the 9th February. And since then, I think the first day we had about 3, and since then we have had a total of 14 in our facility. And it's only been one facility so far that has recorded cases.
We are not just about HIV and AIDS in terms of prevention and STIs. We also do support wherever we are needed, and wherever there's a need, you can count on us as AHF. The monetary value is about 3.5 million Malawi kwacha. And the items that are behind us, we have buckets. Some are here, some have not been demonstrated here. We have big buckets that have a tap, and the smaller buckets. We have IV fluids, we have drugs like zinc, we have ORS. We also have water guard, chlorine, gloves, and other preventive materials.
Free secondary education policy which government is implementing might look like a mere policy to many, but in the most rural areas of Malawi, there are footprints that only tears of disbelief can explain. In our special report this week, Rashida Matandika brings in families that once lost hope on the academic future of their children and now have it restored. This is a story of 3 families in the outskirts of Balaka Rural.
At Mapila village, traditional authority Sawali in Balaka district, 41-year-old Florence Lloyd was once in despair. Her son Harold was so passionate about school, but her husband had made it clear he could never support a stepchild.
When I notified his father, he told me off. I reminded him and he said that it was none of his business and that instead of paying school fees for Harold, I should focus on providing food for the other children, as Harold will build his own family.
Jean Luca, a widow, saw her son Watson, who wanted nothing but to complete his education, drop out of school in his first term of Form 3 because every piecework that the mother did could not give them enough money to pay for her son's school fees.
His education journey has been hard because he is an orphan. School fees has been a problem and has been doing pieceworks to afford it. On the other hand, he has been able to provide necessities for himself until he got in Form 3. And there he had to drop out of school because he couldn't afford to pay school fees for himself.
The same wind blew through Abale village, affecting Pempo Manyeta in her first days of secondary school in Form 1. As her mother, Esnat Uladi, explains, Pempo was sent back home due to unpaid school fees after attending classes for only 2 days.
I couldn't get 30,000 kwacha to pay school fees for her, and it was painful because this is the second child that I am educating alone. It was the same with her elder sister who managed to attain an MSCE certificate.
This ordeal would have ended a dream the Malawian girl child has. As for Jean and Florence, fears of losing their sons to the world were overwhelming.
His dropout would have led to him going astray because he really wanted to complete his education.
I felt sad and I was stressed because this is the only child who has shown commitment in the education.
By introducing the free secondary school education, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika directly and indirectly touched souls. To others, there is money to save, but to Esnat Uladi, chains of recycled illiteracy have been broken.
Honestly, I just want my children to be educated.
In his observation, Balaka District Commissioner Bibu Yusuf Mdala says the policy will enhance development from community level with availability of educated development committee leaders to citizens that might bring developmental projects to their areas.
You know, there are a lot of development projects that takes place in the areas, and if people are not educated, they like meaningful participation because in most cases, it requires people who are able to read and write. And if someone is not, then it is very, very difficult for him or her to contribute meaningfully.
The free education policy will not only benefit students and their families, but according to Owen Kamoto, Chenda Usiku Community Day Secondary School's head teacher, administratively, there are already changes in school plans implementations.
We planned to purchase a school laptop as well as a printer for administrative activities, including production of examination, because it was somehow costly. But with this free secondary education policy, we have managed to purchase.
The 2030 Sustainable Development Goals have Malawi and other countries agreeing to achieving goal number 4 of ensuring inclusive and quality equitable education, of which recently Malawi was challenged in giving equal opportunities to boys and girls. Statistics from the Southeast Education Division reveal that, in terms of fees, more girls were privileged to bursaries than boys. Division Manager Edina Manyungwa said the data of 2025-2026 school year alone shows that at least 5,950 girls were benefiting from different organizations, while 3,100 boys were able to get bursaries, creating unequal opportunities. With the free education policy, the ground is leveled. Meanwhile, education partners have now started contemplating on supporting the sector on new projects after being relieved from the school fees interventions as Center for Alternatives for Victimized Women and Children, CAVOC coordinator in Balaka district. Rightwell Nyirenda explains.
During an assessment, we found out that teachers, they were looking for infrastructures, lab, and others were asking for the push bikes. So once everything has been concluded, we'll come back to the district and we'll see the way forward after our discussions.
Free secondary education policy shows a mission and vision that is not only on paper, lying on office shelves, but printed out in people's hearts with a restored peace of mind to those that the future was dimmed because of economic challenges.
Communities in Mzimba have been encouraged to establish their own woodlots. Sub-Tradition Authority Yohane was speaking at Ekwendeni Primary School in the district during a tree planting exercise organized by Wana YSTA, Yohane, an association by the sons and daughters under Sub-Tradition Authority Yohane. More in this report by Grant Muhango.
Realizing the rate of degradation in Mzimba due to wanton cutting down of trees, the sons and daughters from Traditional Authority Yohane under the banner Wana kwa Yohane organized a tree planting exercise at Ekwendeni Primary School ground in the district. Speaking during the event, Sub-Traditional Authority Yohane challenged his subjects to champion tree planting as a means of achieving sustainable forest cover.
I myself will be in the forefront to see that we have planted the trees and we also taking care of these trees. So as custodians, we have not just only planted these trees. Like you know, this association is Vanava Yohane Sub-Chief. So these, in terms of the money, the money that have come from our people, that the ones who have donated the money. So it's not only us looking to the donor aid, but also us taking part and also having the ownership of this great initiative we have done today.
For his part, the association's chairperson, Kelvin Sato, expressed the desire to reach out to more schools in the area in the coming years.
Because we still have a lot of schools, Mazinyeni, Kaweche, all those schools would want to still to go and plant. We want to go as far as Doloba, Choma, and but then for what we had now, that is why we had to do it here.
Held under the theme, Restoring Nature, One Tree at a Time, the event was patronized by a cross-section of people, including learners. Grant Muhango, MBC News, Mzimba.
And that's the news for now. A recap of our top stories before we leave. President Mutharika vows to put measures that will bring the economy back on course and reduce hardships faced by citizens. Blantyre City Council embarks on sewer rehabilitation compensation survey. In our special report, we bring in families that once lost hope on the academic future of their children and now have it restored due to the free secondary education policy. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Abale Kaisa. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.